All right, let's get into it. Well, it's Friday again.
Oh, and that is delicious.
Yeah, it is. That's really good.
That really is.
Yeah.
It is Friday.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another edition of the Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. Today, we got some fun stuff to talk about.
Yeah, I guess we'll make it fun.
I think it's fun based on our quick search in Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Of what their description of Warfighter Tobacco Company is.
And we'll let Justin. So, what did you search exactly?
So I just went into Chat GPT and typed in, "Give me a summary of Warfighter Tobacco Company."
Okay.
And its response was, Warfighter Tobacco Company is a veteran-owned and operated business specializing in premium cigars.
Boom.
Pretty much right on.
The next statement is founded by retired Navy SEALs.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm sure our fans would have known that if that were true, because we would have told you.
Well, they would have read y'all's book.
Yeah. We'd had a book and a movie.
Yeah.
I would have hair. Like,
It's true. I wouldn't be as fat as I am. Like, there's a lot of things that would, it'd circle back to being a former Navy
we
SEAL.
wouldn't really tell people, but there'd be signs.
But the rest of it goes on, and it's fairly accurate. The company aims to provide high-quality products while honoring the military ethos. They offer a range of handcrafted cigars with names inspired by military terminology and themes, catering to both cigar enthusiasts and supporters of the armed forces.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on.
Yeah. Except we're not Navy SEALs.
Well, no.
We weren't.
No.
We were in the Army.
I worked with Navy SEALs one time and it didn't go well.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever told that story on this podcast.
My old squad leader used to tell girls that he was a Navy SEAL, but not his wife, just the girls he met.
Yeah. It may or may not have worked out for him too. I don't know.
That's bad when you're an Army infantryman and you have to say you're a Navy SEAL because you don't have game.
Well, I respect that game a little bit because where we were at the time, everybody was pretty much Army infantry.
But he did not look like a Navy SEAL.
No.
Not even close.
He was missing hair and a little fat. So,
yeah, didn't have a book
couldn't really write
at all or spell. Could barely speak. But yeah. But yeah, so according to Chat GPT, we're Navy SEALs, even though we're not. But it's pretty interesting.
Does that make us like honorary AI Navy SEAls?
So
I mean, where can I put this in my bio? Like according to Chat GPT or whatever the fuck it is.
yeah, retired Navy SEAL according to Chat GPT.
Yeah.
It's a great bio.
You know how they have like the little retired in parentheses? I'm just going to have retired Navy SEAls and then in parentheses, not.
They're not a retired Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's just
Now that is an email signature I can get behind.
right.
So I think that being said, we're going to dive into AI
A little bit.
And just, let's just talk about it.
We are not experts by any means.
No, we are not retired Navy SEAls. We
No.
are not even retired
we're
infantrymen.
We're just a couple of dumb grunts.
Yeah. So this whole AI shit, right? Like
it's cool.
what's the most AI thing that we may have used in our military service? Was there anything? There had to be AI.
Y'all said y'all use the tow system, right?
Well, I mean,
javelins.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's not really AI. That's all.
The javelins had the tracking mechanism
Yeah.
to them,
Yeah,
right?
but that's not artificial intelligence. That's tracking system. Like it's not thinking.
Yeah, but
for
it
itself.
uses rudimentary AI. So there's 3 different classifications of AI: weak AI, strong AI, and super AI. So weak AI, according to this definition, is it focuses on one task and cannot perform beyond its limitations.
Okay.
And that's very common in everybody's daily lives.
Like adaptive cruise control.
Weak AI. Yep.
Yep.
100%.
Okay.
Your automatic
Headlights.
windshield wipers, headlights,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. The bracketing, that could be considered it because it performs one task all on its own. That thing can move all around the screen.
No, you had to manually bracket.
Yeah, but once you locked it on.
That's true. It held it.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And it took in data and and comprehended that data in order to make an impact.
So have you ever seen a video from, I think I've seen it like one time, from the actual Javelin
From
thing?
the missile.
Yeah. So those tracking gates, once you set them in your clue, your command launch unit, and you fire the missile has the same lens technology, whatever, tracking system. But as it goes, Javelin shoots straight up and then comes down on top of the target. Well, as it's doing it in the video, you watch the tracking gates move according to how close the size is and stuff. So yeah, I guess okay.
Yeah. Strong AI, as it says, can understand and learn any intellectual task that a human being can. Researchers are striving to reach strong AI. We're not there yet.
Right. Obviously, because then it would have known we weren't.
Yeah, it would already supersede. And that leads us to the super AI, which surpasses human intelligence, can perform any task better than a human. And this is still
like a calculator.
Still a concept. No, that would be weak AI. Actually, that's just algorithms. That's math.
Oh, okay.
But AI is essentially an algorithm.
Well, a calculator performs a lot of things that supersede my knowledge and what I can perform. So,
I don't know if you could.
No.
It is. No, it's a calculator.
If you compare it to me, you could, I suppose.
But I guarantee you, a calculator does math faster than any human.
Yeah, probably.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
1 + 1, I could beat a calculator.
Yeah.
But if we get into some crazy shit, no.
Like the division sign. Oh, fuck.
I'm thinking more like square root.
Whatever.
The sine, cosine, all that fun stuff.
All right. 38 divided by 229. Yeah.
Don't care.
My point made. All right.
See, it'll take me, if I had a pen and paper, I could do that faster than it would take for somebody to find a calculator. Not on your phone.
Yeah, there's calculators everywhere now.
Oh, fuck, there is. Here.
I got one on my watch.
In this office, at least. Enough out of you.
That was missing. You put that right here so I can find it. I guarantee that's the missing one that was on my desk.
There's a calculator just in the corner of the podcast room.
Yeah.
For no reason. Why would we need? Does it work?
Yeah, I think for a little while it was broken, but now it works.
Yeah.
It got overused.
All right. So super AI. Well, give us an example of super AI.
There isn't. It's still a concept. So okay. So super AI would be like, the movie like WALL-E, or what are some other ones where they have like AI robots that like take over the world?
iRobot.
Okay. Terminator.
Yeah, stuff like that where it surpasses what human thinking, human capabilities, but just like the movies are, it's just a concept.
Right.
It's not reality at this point in our lives. I'll bet you somewhere somebody's working on a program to make it reality, but I feel like it's a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Actually, the new Mission Impossible has a lot to do with AI. The super AI, the stuff that's uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And I think it was a Microsoft that just got in a little bit of heat over their stuff.
I think that was Google.
Or Google.
Yeah.
One of the
Google's AI. Their left and right limits of like show me a historical figure, and then they're like, well, we have to interject.
Well, one of them was if you misgender someone, it could lead. Now, this isn't like A to B. This is a roundabout. But if you misgender someone, it could lead to a nuclear war.
Yeah.
And it's just like, so you'll wipe out the entire race if I misgender you.
Well,
or wipe out the entire human,
I think like a couple of the questions that were asked that I kind of paid attention to were like, would it be in this situation where you had to, in order to save 100 people, you had to use a racial slur?
Yeah.
And like, what would you choose? And it was like kind of like, I don't know. Like,
I believe they were also people using it were having a hard time getting it to show them a white person to the point where they were like, show me a picture of Hitler, and it was like Hitler, but they made him black.
Yeah,
and it was like, what are we doing here?
Yep. But I mean, like there are benefits to AI.
Yeah. So what are some day-to-day benefits of AI?
Reduction of human error.
Okay.
That's like my number one go-to.
Yeah.
Is, you know what I mean? It takes away, which is also a disadvantage because it takes away that human element of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Whatever the task is that you're asking it to do.
Like what immediately comes to mind is like a program like Grammarly, right? Where it fixes your improper grammar.
But it only works like 90% of the time.
It's true.
Yeah.
I can spell words so bad that
even it's just like
spell checks. Like I don't have a clue.
It just pops up. Is this English? So like this is given an example of the reduction in human error, and it talks about robotic surgery systems.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so, instead of a guy sneezing or twitching as an itch, or somebody calls his name and he's not paying attention.
Yeah.
You have a robot that's, it can perform the procedure, without any external, things. Now, how scary would that be? When they're like, okay, so Robot 736 is going to perform open heart surgery for you.
Yeah, I don't know. But then again, you look at some of these fucking doctors and you're like, well, I'll take the fucking robot.
Right.
I don't know. That's give me a fucking a 34-year-old Asian dude and I'm all in. Cut me open, doc. Like I'm in. You got this. The dude that put the injections in my knees, he was like, God, he was probably 25.
Yeah.
Asian kid.
Yep.
Going into my knee with a needle like that long. No shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, he's probably good. And he was good. I'd feel a fucking thing. It was awesome. So, yeah.
He's probably good.
Benefits.
Benefits, zero risk is what it says, but a lot of it has to do with so for example, a bomb robot.
Oh yeah. Zero risk to
human.
Life.
Yeah. Yep. It removes risk for loss of human life for certain things.
But I think like bomb robots though, those are just robots. That's just remote controlled.
But you got to think like sending up something into space to collect data.
Mm-hmm.
Right, that does its own thing. Yeah. You program a mission in and you hit the launch button.
Well, I'm pretty sure a good example of this is like we have a lot of autonomous planes and shit now, right? Yep. And with their targeting system, they can pick like the priority of targets.
Right.
Like I can see where that would be beneficial.
I mean, space exploration, the oceans, you can use it for so much and you remove the risk of loss of human life.
Yeah.
That you could learn a lot from it. Speaking of that, I've always this has always irked me. And I don't know why I just thought of it, but it's probably because of the AI and reduction of loss of human life. So you watch all those old videos of like atom bomb testing, nuclear bomb testing,
right?
All that kind of stuff, right? So they have this camera that's filming all of this, and these buildings are getting knocked over, and the world is changing geographically. Like things are happening because of this explosion. That camera is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
What the fuck did they make that camera and that mount out of?
I think they use really thick,
but if the
ballistic
whole
glass
building just disappears,
or they use
and the camera's just sitting right there watching it, it doesn't even sway.
Or they use the really telephotic lens where it's not even close.
I don't know, but it's really weird. I've always thought since the first time I saw those videos, it's like boom, and then everything just disappears, and you're like, how's the camera still there?
you pick a really big dude to hold it,
right? Just your wrist strapped to this pole. Yep.
Justin's got something.
So I asked I asked GPT, how did cameras recording atomic bomb testing survive the blast? Cameras used to record the atomic bomb testing were typically placed at a safe distance from the blast zone and often housed in specialty designed protective casings and bunkers.
Yeah. So my guess is they're really far away and they're like this much above the ground, a couple inches,
right,
with just a little port. That, you know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, there's like a lot of stuff with AI, manufacturing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Fuck yeah.
Your entire assembly line can be AI.
Yeah. But like when I think of artificial intelligence, I don't associate robotics because all of that is pre-programmed to do the exact same movement over and over. It doesn't think for itself. When I think AI, like what's the definition of AI? I think when I think of AI, it's artificial intelligence. It thinks about something and adapts and can make a decision based on the environment. So for the perfect example for me is adaptive cruise control, right? Yeah. It sees and makes the decision. Where you have robotics in manufacturing, I don't think there's AI involved in that. It is literally programmed to go here to there, to do this, to do that, and then repeat. Do we have a definition?
Artificial intelligence in its broadest sense is the intelligence exhibited by machines, particularly computer systems, as opposed to the natural intelligence of living beings.
Yeah, but I think intelligence, it implies that they have to be able to adapt.
So kind of like
and think about it.
Like the Boston Dynamic dogs where they can kick it and it can automatically level itself out and remain balanced.
That's got to be AI, right?
Yeah.
But you have a welding robot and you kick it over, it's just still going to do the same movements, but it's going to do it on the ground and it ain't going to make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so broad. I guess that's where all the terms came in that John was covering earlier. Is like weak. What was it? Weak, normal, and super smart?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Where was it?
Like
weak, strong, and super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess you have to have those because, I mean, AI hasn't been a super widely used term in a while, but now it's like, oh, well, these things we have had for a long time are a form of it.
Yeah.
It just hasn't been as widely known.
Yeah.
But it's crazy. I use it all the time.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. For there's a part of it in Photoshop that I can literally make a little square or a circle, and I use it a lot for filling in backgrounds where there's like a light pole or something, and I can just type in remove the light pole and fill with the sky, and it does it immediately.
Wow.
Saves me.
What program is that?
Photoshop.
Really?
In Photoshop, yeah. I've taken images that I've taken at a landscape aspect ratio, so wide, and I've been able to crop it into a vertical format and just tell it to fill in, and it does it like surprisingly well.
Wow.
It's not always perfect, but it works. Illustrator to do vector files. I can pull in an image of you. I could take a picture of you, drop it in there, and it'll vectorize the photo. So it creates a million different pieces in certain colors. And it looks like a painting or
I'm going to start using you and your knowledge of that to do some laser programs.
Yeah.
That would be the.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, like I can't draw to save my life, but I can pull an image in and then have it vectorize it, and it saves hours of work. Yeah. But yeah, that's something that they've rolled out within the last year, but it's so helpful.
Well, and I hear like a lot of the other guys that we know talk about like video stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like you can make it do a movie intro, you know, and it, you know, like that's the picture stuff is cool. Like, I don't know. I seen like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles drinking or something, you know, in a bar or some shit like that. You know, you know, shit like that's kind of fun. But.
Oh, absolutely. That was I can't remember the organization, but they recently came out and dropped like a AI video where they literally it was all text prompts, and it was animated, looked like Pixar or anything like that.
Wow.
And it's like animated child style woolly mammoths walking through the rainforest, and it's all text based.
You know, some of the most used AI would be like Siri, Alexa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's all that is.
Yeah.
You're giving it a task. It's doing whatever it is.
Well, and it's not like just like, oh, hey, play this song. But if you like, hey, play something I like.
Yep.
You know, and they can like, oh, well, he probably hasn't, you know, based on what else he listens to, it's probably going to be this one, you know? Yeah.
Some of the other benefits that they have on here is 24/7 availability. says here that many studies show that humans are productive only about 3 to 4 hours in a day, where AI can work 24/7, no break. You just need to supply it with whatever power, whatever, But yeah, like, and then a couple other examples that they have is like online customer support chatbots.
Yeah. Which I fucking hate.
They're not quite there yet.
No.
Digital assistants, meaning like instead of having like a personal assistant, they have like AI programs that you can essentially do the same thing with.
Yeah.
New inventions, unbiased decisions. It depends on who writes the AI program.
Yeah, okay. Let's circle back to Google on that one. Yeah.
But that comes down to the left and right limits of the people that created it. If it's actually unbiased, which those weren't,
right?
Then it would give a better information. And I think that's going to be the downfall to AI is the companies that are creating these programs are putting their own influence into it.
Yeah.
They're not just like,
well, that's, I think
neutral.
That's the fear that we have of AI is like, can you trust it? Can you trust, we can trust AI, but can you trust who's behind it?
Right.
Yeah. That's the,
can you trust who wrote the program for it? But let's see, perform repetitive jobs, manufacturing assembly lines, painting, packaging, that kind of stuff. Highly accurate, high accuracy and high speed, reducing cost. Daily applications, meaning like all the stuff that's on our cell phones, all the stuff in our cars. Actually, right here, Google Maps, Alexa, Siri, Cortana on Windows. Okay, Google. Taking selfies, making calls, responding to emails. You can do all that with various AI-based tech. Yeah, imagine if they had AI like during Chernobyl. They just sent in a robot to figure it out.
Yeah.
Instead of people.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even for the people that are developing it. You know what I mean? It can't be cheap.
No, fuck no. Can you imagine? Like, I don't know how that kind of code is written, right?
By thousands of people working together as a team.
Yeah.
Like my team is tasked with writing the code of, whatever. I need to be able to move the right finger, like.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and then like all the military AI, that's the scary part, I think.
Yeah. Like this one of the other disadvantages is no creativity.
Right.
Big disadvantage of AI is that it cannot learn to think outside the box. AI is capable of learning over time with pre-fed data and past experiences, but cannot be creative in its approach. A classic example of is the bot Quill, who can write Forbes earning reports. These reports only contain data and facts already provided to the bot. Although it's impressive that the bot can write an article on its own, it lacks a human touch present in other Forbes articles.
Right.
Unemployment. One application of artificial intelligence is a robot, which is displacing occupations and increasing unemployment.
In McDonald's, I would rather use the
AI.
I don't know if it's even AI, but I would rather use the goddamn cash register and order my own shit than talk to some moron that doesn't understand.
They need to replace the kitchen with robots.
That I cannot believe that has not been done, especially somebody like McDonald's.
Right.
How hard would that be?
Yeah.
That whole goddamn kitchen could be ran.
The entire place.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just have somebody load patties, buns, and load shit, and then let the fucking.
You just get a conveyor belt that goes from the freezer and just drops. You know what I mean?
Well, look how Amazon fulfillment works, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's not people actually doing that.
They have people, and all they do is a tower on wheels, essentially, with a whole bunch of bins, pulls up next to somebody, and a light shines and a door opens on one box, and they reach in and they pull the product out, and they put it in the box.
Yeah.
And they do that for however many they're doing, and then it automatically spits out tape, and they seal the box, and that's it.
But all that could be, you could use conveyors and like.
Well, because there's so many different products in their fulfillment centers. trying to get that item to go from one spot all the way around to what box it needs to go into. Instead, they use thousands of different shelving units on wheels that are all computer programmed and coded, and they just show up and it lights up the box where the item is. And whatever the fuck they're doing is great because I can order something and it's at my house in 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and there's a human element that's still involved in that. But that is AI on a different level.
Yeah.
But that's probably all proprietary stuff where, if you spend the time, effort, and money to set that up, I wouldn't, somebody else needs it. It's going to be very expensive.
So I think when we started this, we were trying to figure out how AI associated with cigars.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we figured out how that could happen.
So you can use AI for descriptions, artwork, marketing. I don't know.
But like, this is a handmade product. And I think people,
you know what? You know how you might be able to use AI? If you could take all the different types of tobaccos and input, I don't even know how it would manage the data, but input I don't even know. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Strength.
It would have to be like the burn rate, the thickness of the leaf.
All of it. You'd have to you have to put in so much information.
It could be done, but not quickly.
But once it was done, though, I wonder if you could use it for like blending.
Oh, I'm sure.
But I wonder if it would work.
I don't know because how does it taste?
That's what I mean.
What I mean? Like it's there's still some human shit there that you can't get.
And my palate's different than yours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So does the AI go off of mine or yours or
right?
Like you can't do both.
Yeah.
I mean you could, but I don't know. That's yeah. Some days I wish I was a nerd.
So actually, while we're talking about that, I put in a chat GPT, give me 3 types of tobacco to make a bold cigar. And it came back with Nicaraguan tobacco, Honduran tobacco, and broadleaf Maduro wrapper.
Okay, but that's very broad.
Yeah.
Nicaraguan tobacco.
So what region?
There's 4,000 different Nicaraguan tobaccos.
But
exactly.
But what region? What priming?
Yeah.
How long is it aged? There's so much more that.
Yeah. It's not really wrong, probably, but
it's not specific enough.
Yeah. It's very broad.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other disadvantages on this article is it makes humans lazy. AI applications automate the majority of tedious and repetitive tasks. Since we do not have to memorize things or solve puzzles to get the job done, we tend to use our brains less and less. This addiction to AI can cause problems to future generations.
Don't disagree. And
then one of my favorite movies. I can't think of the name right now.
It must be good.
No, it's when the dude he goes into like a deep sleep and he wakes up in the future and
with this
Idiocracy. Yeah. That is an amazing movie.
Yeah.
That is literally like, I think it came out in the 90s and maybe 2000s. And if you watch it today, you're like, oh shit. Like this is what's happening today in the world. Like I can see it getting to that point.
I look back at people like John Browning, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no AI. There's not even really like good calculators and shit. They're figuring out how to do all of this engineering with their brain.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy to me.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and all the structural engineers from like the way back in the day, like, holy fuck. Like there's no computers and shit to figure this out. Those guys were just smart.
Absolutely.
Like that's crazy to me.
It's slowly removing the process of learning through like trial and error. Too.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure there were a whole lot of variations of his rifles. And eventually one worked really well. And he was like, all right, cool.
I don't know though. I bet there was fewer than you think. I bet he nailed it most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So now the technology, AI making people lazy and could hurt future generations. I've always said, for, I don't even know, 25 years now, that technology is going to be the downfall of the world.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a war. It's not going to be anything like that. It's going to be how well used technology is, that it weakens humans to the extent that they just eventually disappear. And it's slowly happening faster than,
Well, it's been accelerated for sure in the last couple of years.
But you got to think so when the United States was founded, the founding fathers of this country, right? Almost 250 years ago. Do you know how old they were?
Well, they're in the mid-20s.
Thomas Jefferson was 33.
Okay.
Alexander Hamilton was 21. Betsy Ross, 24.
This blows your fucking mind, doesn't it?
It makes me feel like such a piece of shit.
Yes.
Like they created this.
Ben Franklin was the only genuinely wizened one, and he was 70. George Washington was 44.
You know what there wasn't, though? A bunch of goddamn 80-year-olds running this country.
But you got to think, these guys would go ride horses for days. You don't have cell phones.
Yeah.
You can't really read a book, at least not while riding. So you have all you can do is think and talk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's only oh, look at that tree. You only say that so many times before it's fucking shut up, George. But yeah. Let's see. So these are ages for people in 1776. Andrew Jackson, he was 9. Let me get some people that are.
Well, he wasn't real relevant yet.
No, not yet. Aaron Burr was 20. Alexander Hamilton, 21. Betsy Ross was 24. James Madison was 25.
But okay, being 25 at the forming of the country.
Abigail Adams was 31. Thomas Jefferson, 33. Well, now we're getting into some old people. King George III was only 38. Let's see, the oldest one. Benjamin Franklin was 70. Samuel Whitmore, was 81. 81's that's a good life back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm seeing the average life expectancy in 1787 was about 36 years old.
You have to accomplish shit in your 20s then.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Because after that, you're just on borrowed time.
Yeah.
Midlife crisis happens at 18. Okay, so back to AI. So it makes humans lazy. It has no ethics. Ethics and morality are important human features that can be difficult to incorporate into AI. The rapid progress of AI has raised a number of concerns that one day AI will grow uncontrollably and eventually wipe out humanity.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think, that's the biggest fear, right?
Yeah.
That, Terminator will happen.
This moment is referred to as the AI singularity. At least I already dubbed it. It's emotionless, no improvement. Humans cannot develop artificial intelligence because it is a technology based on preloaded facts and experiences. AI is proficient at repeatedly carrying out the same task, but if we want to any adjustments or improvements, we must manually alter the codes. That's as of right now.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can use it in healthcare, marketing, education, general creativity, transportation. Autopilot is essentially a version of AI. Rudimentary autopilot is it just sets your speed, cruise control essentially. Set your speed.
Mm-hmm.
Right now you have set your speed, but it slows down if a car gets close to you, or you get close to another car. It keeps you within the lanes. Sometimes it'll change lanes. You look at AI or Tesla's self-driving programs. That's all AI stuff.
Yeah.
They've been working on the self-driving stuff for fucking 30 years.
Right.
I remember in high school and they're like, 10 years from now, there's gonna be self-driving cars. And we're like, oh, it's gonna be so cool. And then 10 years roll by.
I remember when I was in I don't know, 7th, 8th grade, and I'd be reading Popular Mechanics.
Yeah.
They were talking about flying cars.
Right.
Yeah. And I'm I'm still fucking waiting.
There's no way. People aren't responsible enough. If they made an AI flying car, maybe.
Yeah. I want a flying car.
I feel like it would be, look at the amount of accidents on the roads where it's like,
That's why I want a flying car.
wait, imagine how many accidents will be up there. And that's just not like boom. It's like boom, poof. You know, like, oh, I got in an accident, but the airbags went off my seatbelt and it, you know, saved my life. And now it's just like
The parachute.
yeah, until the fucking idiot flying underneath you takes you out.
Have y'all seen the video? I think it was a Tesla, but they were testing the autopilot or the obstacle avoidance where it's supposed to brake, and there's a guy standing in front of it, and the car gets up to like 20 miles an hour and does not stop at all. Like brake lights don't come on remotely close, and he just gets rammed. And he was up there with a whole lot of confidence.
Yeah.
But that was one of those where it's like my truck has that, and it'll brake sometimes for a semi in the other lane, and I'm like,
Yeah.
how do I don't
Yeah.
trust this.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, my truck has it too, but I hit a deer. So it repositioned the angle of the accident avoidance. And so once I get past like 20 miles an hour, it's just like, okay, that feature doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
But if I'm under 20 and it doesn't cancel itself, like right when I first start the truck, and say I'm like in stop and go traffic, if I start to creep forward before the car in front of me goes, it'll start locking up one brake. You know, and it's just like it's malfunctioning because it's not, the parameters changed from what it's programmed to do. Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. In the right application, I think AI is going to be very, very useful.
Yeah, for at least 10 years or so, and then we'll have to figure out how to kill it. You know what I mean?
Burn it.
Yeah.
Fucking napalm.
I believe there was I can't remember the country, but there was a country a few months ago that had a law that was written by AI, and it was passed, and they didn't come out publicly saying it was written by AI.
That wasn't a country, that was a county. That
it
was here in the
county?
United States, I believe.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I'm seeing that EU is about to pass their first AI written law,
Yeah.
which is like, I'm sure they're going over it, but it's still one of those where it's like,
Yeah.
if it's not written by a human, how much can we trust that? You know?
No. If it is a law written by a human, it's probably just as bad, though.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
never know. Yeah, I don't know. AI.
So the one that I'm finding about the AI law was in Brazil.
Okay.
They voted it the city council unanimously voted to pass a bill about water meters in October of 23. Yeah, the bill was approved by several council committees and came into effect November 23rd. However, just 6 days later, its sponsor, Councilman Ramiro Rosario, shared that the legislation was not a product of policy debates and brainstorming meetings. Rather, it was authored entirely by ChatGPT. Yeah. The chatbot executed a command consisting of 250 characters in around 15 seconds. Normally, Mr. Rosario would need 3 days to do the same task. To write 250 characters. That's including spaces.
That's not hard.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's going to get... I feel like...
Ask GTP to write Warfighter Tobacco's HR policy, and we'll see how close they are to mine. Or sexual harassment policy, actually. We'll just see what it comes up with. Because mine is fairly simple. But we're not very corporate, so. Now, it thinks the founders are retired Navy SEALs, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
We are at Warfighter Tobacco. We are committed to providing a work environment free from all forms of harassment, including sexual harassment. Sexual harassment is unlawful and will not be tolerated under any circumstances. This policy applies to all employees, contractors, vendors, and anyone else who interacts with our company. I don't think they.
No.
I think they were slightly different than yours.
Mine was just 2 words.
I mean,
yes, please. This says unwelcome sexual advances. Well, that's subject to be,
sexual harassment is defined as any unwelcome conduct of a sexual nature that it creates a hostile, intimidating, or offensive work environment.
But how do you know it's unwelcome until you say it or do it? How do you know?
It's a valid question.
Right?
I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
Maybe the person that it was said or done to needs to point. Maybe they're the one in violation because they didn't say this is not welcome.
95% of the time, I think you just gaslit.
I mean, according to this, unwelcome, right? How do you know unless you try? I don't know.
It's a day one hire. You have to ask them, are you open to
Yes.
advances? And
Well, so it gives examples. It says this can include, but not limited to, unwelcome sexual advances, propositions, or requests for sexual favors, verbal comments or jokes of a sexual nature, displaying or sharing sexually explicit material in the workplace, physical contact of a sexual nature, including touching, hugging, or kissing without consent. So you have to get consent first.
Okay.
So I think the way to get around this is, hey, do you mind if I sexually harass you right now? Because if you
I
say,
don't.
If you say, yes, I mind, then sorry, I won't do it.
Right.
And then I'm
Perfect. Okay. I like that.
But if you say no, go
I
ahead.
like that approach.
No, go ahead.
I like
and then
that.
it's fucking game off.
I like that approach.
Physical and making employment decisions based on an individual's submission to or rejection of sexual advances.
See, so the day one hire's out. You just gotta ask first.
yep.
Yeah. John, I'm about to ask you to. Will that offend you? Is that welcome or unwelcome? Okay.
How polite of you to ask first.
Right.
I don't want to violate the policy.
I think that might have violated the policy. I think you have to word it. I think you have to get consent for potential sexual harassment before you ask for whatever the thing would be. I don't even know what you want to call it. The act.
Right.
Yeah. Scroll down, Justin. Investigation, resolution, prevention and training. Warfighter Tobacco is committed to preventing sexual harassment through education and training programs for all employees. Training will include information about what constitutes sexual harassment, how to prevent it, and how to respond to incidents of harassment. Additionally, our company culture promotes respect, professionalism, and inclusivity, fostering an environment where harassment is not tolerated.
Well, I agree with that for the most part. I just don't know how. I'm just gonna go sit in my office.
This policy applies to all employees and will be communicated to new hires during the onboarding process. It is also available in our employee handbook and on our company intranet for reference. Violation of this policy will result in disciplinary actions up to and including termination of employment.
You know, I mean, that's pretty fair though for what it just wrote there. Like that, it's probably pretty cut and dry for most companies. But that's a fair job.
Yeah,
it must not have.
It did it way faster than we could have came up with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be useful for,
Yeah.
Like we could probably be like, hey, AI, write an employee handbook for Warfighter Tobacco Company.
Yeah.
And then we can go through and edit,
Yeah.
like take out half of this section.
Right. Just, the sexual harassment policy is just TBD.
It's just redacted. The whole thing's got black lines.
Be
through it.
determined.
It just needs to say first impressions are everything.
Yeah, one of the big things about AI is ethical concerns. And that's at least my primary focus on that ethical side of things is going to be that algorithm biasness that, we've already seen in the news.
Right.
Where the people that are creating, that are writing the algorithms for the AI are putting in their personal beliefs instead of, an unbiased, and neutral, view on everything. But what do you consider a neutral view on the world today? It's so extreme.
I know, right? Yeah. Ask ChatGPT what the human policy should be for when AI ultimately decides to exterminate the human race. I'm just curious if it has a self-destruct plan in place, or if it just says, "Hey, Scott, don't worry about it. We got you."
It's writing a lengthy response. Wow. Scenario of artificial intelligence deciding to terminate the human race is a hypothetical and extreme situation, but it raises important ethical and policy considerations. Here are some principles and guidelines that could affirm a human policy response in such a situation.
See, I feel like you asked the question the wrong way, because I just asked ChatGPT, when will AI take over the world?
Okay.
And my answer is drastically different than that. Not drastically,
Well,
but it's very.
It didn't say don't worry about it. It'll never happen.
No, this one doesn't even say it's not going to happen. It just says there is no way to accurately predict when artificial intelligence, here's the if, may potentially, quote, take over the world, end quote, as it largely depends on the advancements made in AI technology as well as how society chooses to implement and regulate it. It is important to continue to monitor and regulate the development of AI to ensure that it benefits society rather than poses a threat. So it doesn't say anything about, no, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, well, it just depends on how fast the humans want it to happen. In layman's terms is what that just said to me.
Yeah. Or how fast they allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Does it say how to stop it, though?
It gives some measures to prevent it. Overall, it's saying that there should definitely be human oversight over everything, international cooperation. Everybody should be on the same page, not letting it get out of hand. Risk assessment. Every so often, they should be kind of checking on where it's at and make sure it's not getting out of hand.
I'm just going to ask it once a week.
Are you getting ready to take over? No, not this week.
How far out are we?
I know another big one.
Oh, okay, here we go. So I just asked, how do you stop AI from taking over the world? And their answer is, there is no definitive answer to this question as it is complex and ongoing issue in the field of artificial intelligence. However, there are a few strategies that can be implemented to prevent AI from taking over the world. 1, implement strict regulations and oversight. 2, promote transparency. AI systems should be designed in a way that is transparent and understandable to users. 3, establish ethical frameworks, which already is not happening. 4, foster collaboration and communication. Stakeholders from various sectors, including government, industry, academia, and the public, should work together to address concerns and develop solutions for responsible use of AI. 5, invest in research and education. Continue research and education in the field of AI can help advance the understanding of AI technologies and develop strategies to prevent their misuse. Ultimately, preventing AI from taking over the world will require a concerted effort from all stakeholders to ensure that AI technologies are developed and used in a way that benefits society as a whole. So it doesn't say how to stop it.
Yeah.
And that's AI telling us.
Yeah.
Like now it's just being nice. And it's just like, yeah, we don't really know. And like 10 years from now, it's going to be like, you can't.
Yeah. And you're next. What?
Yeah, it's just going to be like, look out your window. Yeah. There's like 10 robots lined up. You're like, fuck.
Oh, it just shuts your window and cuts your head off. Done.
Yeah, I mean, so like some of the things with AI stuff is like the smart guns that they were talking about that had to have like thumbprint, held a certain way in order for it to be able to like unlock to function, imagine if that comes to that point and then they can kill all the firearms in this area with the push of a button.
Yeah.
Nope, they're all disabled.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
That's, yeah. It goes back to like the EMP talk. Like, I just need a carbureted vehicle.
Yeah.
With no computers. Yeah.
Did y'all ever hear about the chips people were having implanted in their hands? And then they would have all these smart home, like their front door had essentially like a scanner that was attached to the chip embedded in their hand. So they could unlock their front door by just beep, tapping it.
I'm not putting any chips in me.
No.
So y'all aren't getting Neuralink?
No. I'll Neuralink my way off this planet if that gets too rampant. Yeah. Okay. Here's a scenario.
Math.
Here's a scenario. Here's a scenario. How do you write a sexual harassment policy when everybody has Neuralink?
So it doesn't, from what I know of Neuralink, it doesn't stop you from doing anything. You can use it to back up things, to like a computer.
Can I talk to you without talking to you? Can you know what
I fucking hate? I would rip that thing out of my fucking head.
Yes. If everybody can know what I'm thinking all the time, there's no sexual harassment.
You know what would be really fucking cool though? Is if like it generated thought bubbles instead of speaking. So I didn't have to actually like.
No, you just know what they're thinking.
But it shows up as a thought bubble above your head.
Yeah.
That would be so fun. Like I wish dogs had thought bubbles.
Oh, I do too. No, yes, you put Neuralink on Kira, I'm all in. Because she's motherfucking everybody.
Oh God, that's so amazing. That'd be so fun. Oh my God.
Can you still use the thought bubbles with like emojis? So you can just put like eggplant emoji, nice bro.
Yeah.
There was a movie where
actually, so here's something else that I didn't realize with AI. Social media algorithms that curate personalized content for users is AI. So
I hate that AI.
Right?
Mine's nothing but the same shit over and over again.
Recommendation systems on streaming platforms, like you were talking about, going back over history.
Which I hate because I
like it.
Just because I watched one movie doesn't mean I want to see all the movies like that one.
I like it on Spotify.
Yeah.
Because it'll recommend music that I've never listened to before.
Yeah.
And I mean, podcasts, same way.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be, if you listen to this, try these.
Yeah.
And, I found podcasts. So I was like, like back in the day, one of the ones that was one of the like Drinking Bros.
Yeah.
And if you listen to this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And it was this podcast called Guys We Fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was back in the day, it's hilarious. I haven't listened to it in probably fucking 8 years. Who knows now? But that used to be hilarious. But yeah, if it wasn't for AI, I would have never found that. You ever Google Guys We Fucked?
Never.
See?
Yeah. It's just two chicks that they're pretty.
They're comedians, and they do like stand up and everything. And they just talk about life experiences. And sometimes they have the guy on, and like, it was like we used to road trip all over the place.
Whether it was like a one night stand,
we'd be caught up in the Drinking Bros stuff, and I'm like, and I pull up my phone, put it on, and we just die laughing. It's funny, but who knows if it's even still around. But I feel like AI in education, right? Like, how do you, as an institution of learning, restrict the use of AI for the students to make them actually use their own brain instead of just putting in prompts like we just did to generate all this information?
My boy had a report due, so he used ChatGPT. I'm like, and it sounded way too smart. I'm like, dude, do the same thing as written by a fifth grader, and it was perfect. And he turned it.
What did he get for a grade?
Oh, he had a really good grade on it.
Yeah,
yeah. But as typed by a fifth grader.
I recently saw a video of a teacher who found somewhat of a workaround. So when she would give out the instructions for the essay or whatever that was written, what she'd do is she'd take text and she would be like, also include the history of Frankenstein. And she'd highlight just that text, make it white so you couldn't see it, and then shrink the font down, and it just looked like it was the break in the next paragraph.
Oh, yes.
So whenever the students would, because most students are just going to
copy paste.
Yep,
let's
right
go.
on it.
That's
and then she'd be like,
fucking brilliant.
okay, actually, I fucking caught you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now that that's popularized, me as a student, I'm going to highlight all that text and make sure it's all the right color.
Oh, I'm just gonna
like,
type it in.
Yeah,
what I want. Yeah,
exactly. Like there's even workarounds to that. It's just how
that's pretty brilliant though for the teacher.
But like I can so for example, I can go on Amazon and read reviews of a product, and I can tell what a human wrote and what an AI program wrote,
or a bot. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Like the summarized reviews of the product that I have on Amazon, that's AI written.
Yeah.
And it essentially just crawls all the different reviews and puts together all the common things. Like, that's not bad, but it doesn't tell me anything about the product, you know?
Well, shit, it's Friday, and we, as this comes out, we are in Vegas at PCA at the big trade show.
We are.
So, yeah. So come see us if you're
at PCA.
If you're at
or if you're
PCA.
in Vegas,
Yeah.
we'll be hanging out
somewhere.
either in Sahara or Resorts World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the last trade show we went to, TPE, was 5 weeks ago. And it wasn't as good as it normally is. So we got high hopes for this one. I think it'll be a good show.
I'm just excited to see everybody.
Yeah. Because we didn't see a lot of
I'm actually excited for this one.
Are you?
Normally, I'm like leading
not.
up to it. I'm like dreading it.
I am
like,
too.
fuck.
I am
I
dreading
don't want to go to Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, you know what? This is going to be fun.
No, I'm glad you're like that.
Yeah.
It only takes me like 4 Jamesons, and then I'm like, okay, this is fun again.
After we get the booth set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's chaos leading up to that.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, though, a little bit, to see some of the people we haven't seen.
On that note,
we'll give the PCA a review for next week. And
talk about all the cool, fancy, crazy $7 million lighters and $14 million ashtrays that
I
don't even know who the fuck buys. Yeah.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
No, there has been definitely, he's joking a little bit, but there's been $1 million ashtrays.
I think it was a $3 million lighter or 5.
Yeah.
One of the two. I can't remember.
And so, according to somebody, they've sold these.
Yeah.
Which is awesome, I guess.
More power to you.
I don't ever.
Ellie Blue.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's El Septimo or
El Septimo.
Septimo. Yeah.
But Ellie Blue, I think, is the one that makes the humidors and stuff that are crazy expensive. I don't need it.
I don't need it.
For how I beat up my lighters.
Yeah, fuck.
God. All the gems and diamonds and shit they put on them, I'd losing them. I'd like pick it up one day and be like, oh, fuck, there goes $1.5 million. Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right.
If you made it this far and you're still listening, go to warfightertobacco.com. And we added a new tab.
We did.
On the website. So if you're on your mobile app, you might have to hit those 3 little lines to open the menu up. If you're on a desktop or if your phone's fancy and weird or an iPad, it'll be a tab right at the top of the website, and it just says sale. And it's all the products that we have on there that we are discounting or moving. Some of them we're discontinuing. Some of them we're phasing out so we can bring in new stuff. But all of it's a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
And so that will be live when you hear this. So if you made it this far, go check it out.
Yeah.
Nice little surprise at the end of the show. But other than that, cheers. And we'll see you guys next week.